In the last part of our three-parter, talking about Jim Gordon, Jim Hodder, and now the late great Jeff Porcaro on Rock History Music. Well, speaking of that, you worked with you worked with Jeff Porcaro as well.
Yes.
That there's I talked to the Toto guys a lot more than most bands. Any memories of him?
Lots of memories. Jeff and I, did a ton of sessions together. You know, it's in the studio in LA. And a wry sense of humor, never down. And his sense of humor was up, because when you're in the studio, I mean, there's some crazy stuff that happens. Number one, if you're first call, which I'm proud to have been, those guys, there's a certain camaraderie, and there's also a certain cockiness. I mean, you're there because you're the pro from Dover. There's nothing you can't do. Or if there is, you're not going to say it, and you're going to do it anyway. So every time I worked with him on any session, there was this tremendous wave of confidence, like with everybody else that I worked with. And Jeff had good jokes. You know, he was like Jay Graydon. He had good jokes. And I'll think about it. Hal Blaine. Jokes, constant.
Really?
So Jeff had some good ones, but his playing was, how can I describe this? Was inviting. In other words, some players play in a box, and it's nice that you're there, but he's here, you're here, you're here. Jeff's playing was inviting. His playing style was like an open book. So when you played with him, you could peer into the structure of what he was doing. And besides the fact it was just great, no matter what, it was joyous, it was fun. There was never, we did a lot of serious work, but we never obsessed about it. And he was, like I say, very inviting. And it was wonderful to play with him.
I'm always curious about running into people who, like, my wife has grit. I don't have that as much. And only in the last couple of months have I been working constantly, and I'm inspired by it, but I don't know what did it. I'm not really sure, but I'm curious to look at some people where Shannon opens a file and she has to, Asperger's people sometimes, or even autistic people. I watch my daughter, who's autistic and 24. She has to open the file, but she has to close that file. And there's some people who it's like homework. They don't want to do that file. And I always call it grit, but you sound like a guy. Do you have a lot of files open, or do you like to close the file?
It depends. It depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes it's important to keep a number of files open. So if you're thinking on non-linear levels, right, you can tap into things immediately. And by the way, I hate the word autism. I believe that label is given to people that the average person doesn't understand, and therefore has to give it a label. I have a number of friends who have kids in the spectrum. Some of them are amazing at what they do. Do you know that at GCHQ, which is the British version of the National Security Agency, the NSA, the Crippies out there, they hired 15 gentlemen between the age of about 20 and 30 who are in the spectrum, and they're the best cryptologists they've ever had. So I didn't mean to get off topic here, but
no, that's good.
I hate it when people use labels, number one, that they don't understand, number two, that they apply because they're afraid as opposed to understanding. And so I might be in the spectrum. I don't know. I'm slightly dyslexic, which is fantastic because that way when I'm watching somebody play guitar, it makes perfect sense to me. You know, I'm good. Oh yeah, I'm good. So I see it as an advantage. I see many of these things as advantages. So yes, I try to keep files open most of the time. There are times when you really have to concentrate and you close everything else and you focus hard.
More from Jeff Skunk Baxter coming up in the next 2-3 days. So share our videos, like them, subscribe to our channel, and comment on them as well. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music. Take care.